Hi folks, today I'm checking out a new pedal from Vertex effects. This is the Vertex Boost MKII. What I'm going to do is take you through the specs of the pedal, show you how to hook it up, and then take you through my favourite ways I found to use this, both when I'm recording guitars at home and in a live scenario. So let's get started. First things first, what's in the box? So essentially this is a super transparent, super high headroom clean boost that has 16 decibels of level available above unity gain. Aside from this though, there are a couple of super cool features going on under the hood, so to speak. The first of which being that we have a dual buffer in this pedal. So if any of you watch Mason's rig build videos where he's putting together boards for people like Paul Jackson Jr. Or explaining how to kind of put different interfaces together, how to build your own cables, etc, etc, you'll know that he talks a lot about his kind of optimal buffer specifications, which is a 1 mega ohm input buffer and a 100 ohm output buffer. The input buffer is to deal with pickup loading, and the output buffer is as a way of maintaining your tone when either you're using a lot of pedals or if you're using long cable runs back to your amp. Second thing that is really cool about this that's not immediately obvious from looking at the frontage of the pedal is that it has a little 1/8 inch expression input in between the input and the output jacks. Now you can use this to connect to a volume pedal or an expression pedal, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can utilize that, which I'll take you through in a minute. Okay, for now let's just look at how to hook it up. So let's look at how to hook this thing up. The MKII takes a standard 9 volt DC input, so I'm using today just an old Voodoo Lab ISO 5 that had lying around my flat. Both the input and the output jacks are top mounted, which is really handy if you are building a sort of compact pedal board where space saving is kind of the essence. It's really convenient. And in between those we also have this 1/8 inch expression input. So what do we need cable wise? I'm using a couple of regular Mogami guitar cables for the input and output, which is self-explanatory, and then I have one of these to connect to the expression pedal input in between those jacks. All this is a TRS connection on one end, 1/8 of an inch. In the UK you tend to find sort of 3.5mm connections, which also sort of fit fine. It's pretty much the same thing. You can see you've got the 2 rings, showing this is a stereo connection, and that splits into 2 mono guitar cables. Okay, you can pick these up pretty much anywhere, or you could build one yourself if you wanted to build it to you know, like a custom length. So all we do is connect the 1/8 inch jack into the top of the pedal, like so, and then I'm going to take these 2 mono connectors and I'm going to plug them into my Dunlop Mini Volume X. Okay, you can also use a standard TRS, mini to TRS 1/4 inch cable depending on which pedal you're using. For this is how I've hooked mine up. So as promised, I'm going to take you through a few of my favourite ways I found to use the Vertex Boost. Number 1 being that it gives you killer volume swells. Now anyone who knows me knows that I am an unrepentant volume pedal / delay junkie. Being such a huge fan of Michael Landau and those 80s, 90s swell ambient kind of textures, I'm always looking for the smoothest, most present, clean volume swells that I can find. But a problem that I've run into a lot is that I found many volume pedals introduce tone suck. They rob you of high end and they make your signal sound dull. Now the nice thing about using the expression feature on the Vertex Boost is that it allows you to isolate your guitar signal from the volume pedal circuitry. meaning that you are using the buffer circuit within the boost. We're using this as essentially an expression pedal, which keeps your tone intact. Second thing that I really dig about this box is that it really allows you to get the most out of your amps. So with the demo song at the start of the video, every single tone, apart from the main guitar solo, was attained using the exact same core amp sound, which was Suhr Badger 30 set completely clean. All the different gain stages were attained by using the Vertex Boost at varying levels of boost, ranging from a very kind of light breakup at around 12 o'clock to some nice kind of thick rhythm tones around 2, and then boosting beyond that for some lead sounds. For me, this is just super convenient, especially with the workflow that I'm using now. I'm in an apartment, I can't have amps crazy loud, so I'm using load boxes and IRs, and it just means that I'm able to attain such a broad range of sounds from all of my amps, and in such an easy fashion. I can literally just have the boost at my fingertip and I can get every conceivable kind of tone out of that amp just from here. Number 3, it lets you get real expressive. So one of the coolest ways I think to use this boost is to have the boost engaged to the point where it is sort of pushing your amp into overdrive, and then use the expression or volume pedal in the same way that you would use volume control roll-off on your guitar. Essentially what you can do is control the amount of saturation that's occurring at the front end of your amp. I'm a huge fan of players that use the volume knob on their guitar in a really kind of like expressive, dynamic way. I've never been that guy so much. I tend to sort of run everything flat out because I don't have the sort of coordination to be doing that at the same time. This lets me keep my hands free for playing and do all that stuff with my foot, which I was really enjoying doing. So you can do this a bunch of ways. You could have this really cranked so that when your foot is down you have flat out kind of overdrive, or you could have it so that you're just at the point of breakup, so that when you are pulled back a little bit on your controller that it's kind of crystal clean, and then when you push it down it just starts to sort of break up a little bit. Again, there's a bunch of cool possibilities there, and I was really enjoying playing with that when I was recording the track. Fourth cool thing about this pedal is that you can use it as an extra gain stage for your favourite overdrive pedals. Now, the term transparent gets thrown around a lot, but to my mind this truly is. I really noticed it with using my Divided by 13. That amp has a really specific character that I know really well, and when I boosted hard into the front end of the amp for the solo sound, all the nuance of the amp was there, and this is going to do the same thing for your favourite overdrive pedals. If you are boosting into an overdrive, it means you're not going to get a boost in level so much as a boost in gain. So you're going to retain the sort of EQ characteristics of whatever your favorite box is, but it's just going to give you a bit more. So if you have a absolute favorite box, but maybe you are switching between a humbucking guitar and a guitar with single coils, maybe the single coils are going to need a little bit more help, and this is exactly where this could come in handy with that. And finally, the fifth thing that I really dig about this box is how it functions using it in the effects loop of your amplifier. So this will do two things. If your amp has a passive effects loop, running the boost in it will turn it into an active effects loop. So it will drive signal along through whatever else you're running in your signal chain back there. The second thing is that by running it in between the preamp and the power amp of your amplifier, is that essentially this will function as a master volume boost like that you would normally see built into the amp itself. This is a really great feature. Obviously, if you don't have an effects loop and you're boosting into the front end of your amp, it's going to respond in a slightly different way. You're going to get more saturation happening from the preamp of your amp. But using it in the effects loop, if you have one, is going to give you a nice clean level boost. Okay folks, that's it from me. I hope you found this video informative. I don't really demo anything that I don't think is a really good piece of gear, and in this case this is absolutely going on my board. I just thought I'd do a quick demo of it before I got it plumbed into my Death Star board behind me. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys real soon.